Okay, all yours.
Hi, good evening, everyone. We are here with Manhattan Community Board 3's Cannabis Control Task Force. And this evening, we're hearing from Cos Marte about his application. It is simply an informational meeting, information from Cos about the location and building. Sorry, I'm a bit distracted, my baby. And we do have a resolution that we'll discuss at the end of the meeting. That being said,
But not on this.
correct, not on this, it is on OCM procedures and their consideration or lack thereof of our input on past and future locations. Cos, do you want to make your presentation?
Yes, thank you, Heidi, for giving me the opportunity to present, Susan for communicating and give me the opportunity to share what we're doing in the community. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Conbud. What we're planning to do is to open up on Delancey and Orchard. And what our mission is to hire people that have been justice impacted to work in our facility. I don't want to go on, but I've been doing this work for a very long time. I've been working in the criminal justice space for about 10 years now. I myself was incarcerated at 13 years old on Forsyth Street for a couple bags of weed, and that's what qualified me to get into this business. And I feel like we don't really talk about too much of what happened on the war on drugs and the Lower East Side. And the Lower East Side, we saw that we made up a huge majority of the prison population in New York State. There was a majority, only 7 neighborhoods that made up 75% of the prison population. And most of the people that were incarcerated in the Lower East Side was through that war on drugs from the 80s and 90s, and that stop and frisk era. And so I've been fortunate enough to have this license, and I'm looking forward to being having a great relationship with the community board, having great relationships with other partners that we're working with. Susan connected me with Henry Street Settlement. We've worked with them and still work with them on a fitness side. We work with University Settlement, working with the training the disabled kids there on the weekends. We're continuing to do stuff with Roar. But yeah, we're pretty much going to be looking at hiring individuals that live in the neighborhood who've been impacted. And that's our concept. That's what we're looking forward to do. And so I appreciate the opportunity to present. And I would love to, if you have any questions. I also have my partner here, Alfredo. He's a family member of mine, also a lawyer. And he's looking to work with me to open up this facility as quickly as possible.
Alfredo, did you want to speak?
Oh, well, my other, excuse me, our other business partner, Junior Martinez, is also on the call. We'll be handling operations. Heidi, I wanted to give you and the community board and the subgroup my thanks. I understand the difficult job the community board has to do in weighing community needs. My mother was actually a district manager for over 25 years for Community Board 12. So I understand the long nights that you have while you try to tend to your children and your families and to hold these meetings and to balance the needs of the community. It's the first step of government. So I understand the jobs that you have, and I thank you for the opportunity to speak before the board. We understand as an organization some of the concerns that the board, community board may have, and we want to address that straight away. So if there are any questions that we could answer for you, we're here. I'm here. My business partner, Junior Martinez, is here, who will be doing operationals. I'm here. We'll be handling compliance. Goss as you heard, speak so eloquently, we'll be addressing the social justice impact initiative that we plan on addressing. So we're really here just for an open dialogue so that we can address any concerns you may have before we present formally to the entire community board.
Thank you for that. That's impressive too, 25 years. Doesn't quite rival Susan, but it's getting there. Okay, so we will take questions.
If Susan may actually have known my mom if she was on the board
Yeah.
that long. Yeah, my mom was 25 years, Community Board 12.
Who is that?
Let's see,
Carmen Rosa over in Community Board 12 in the Bronx.
No, I don't think I did.
Is she,
Or you may have,
is she now at a state member? Or
no,
is
she
that a
ran
different-
for city council, but then she ended up passing. They ended up naming the street in front of the community board after her. So that's
Ah.
Carmen Rosa way. You may have known Father Richard Gorman back then. He was the chairman of the board.
Yes,
Yeah.
I remember him.
If you know Father Gorman, yeah. But Father Gorman ended up actually passing not too long ago as
I
well.
remember, yeah. I do remember. Well, that's great to hear about the ties. So I will first take questions from task force members, if there's anyone who has a question. If not, we can take questions from the community. Susan, go ahead.
Sure. First, I want to let everyone know that both the questionnaire and the notification is on our website attached to the agenda item. And I noticed on the questionnaire that you wrote that people will not be allowed to smoke in line. And I just wanted to let people know I've researched the law, and not everybody knows that actually are not allowed, it's illegal to smoke in line, even though New York City allows smoking on the sidewalk. The Clean Air Act does not allow smoking in lines or public waiting spaces on the sidewalk. So I appreciate that you're doing that, and also just wanted to give you that information if it helps at all. And maybe you just wanted to mention the hours that you'll be open.
Junior, you want to take that?
Yeah, so you could, thanks, Al. Junior Martinez, I am the Chief Operating Officer. So Susan, to your question, we'll be opening from 9 a.m. to 10 p.m. And that is Monday through Sunday.
Okay.
We haven't actually mentioned the location. Do you want to give the address as well? And if you have an idea of when you will actually start being open?
So we officially got approval from the OCM to operate and move forward with the lease. So right now we're still in the middle of signing the lease. So it's the place is not official, but it's in 85 Delancey. It's the old Moscot building, right across the street from the Tenement Museum. We've spoken with multiple businesses around there, you know, just letting them know that we're moving forward and with negotiations with the landlord. But it looks like it's gonna happen. We have a meeting with the landlord tomorrow, and it might be the final meeting before we sign the lease. So there's where we're at right now.
Thank you for that. Is there anyone else on the task force that has questions? Arnett, go ahead.
Hi, I'm sorry, my camera's off. But my question, you did mention the things that you not the things, the programs that you're working with disabled children. How are you? I don't know if I didn't hear and you said this, so I apologize if I'm repeating something that was already said. How are you working with the what programs or union settlements are not union settlement houses that you're working with in order to hopefully employ some people from the community?
So we spoke to Henry Street Settlement. They have a workforce development program. We connected them, and they actually already had a relationship with the hospitality training group. ran by Beatrice, and she's doing cannabis bud tender training. Basically front of house, how to run retail, how to process a sale in the POS systems, how to greet people. It's a whole 6-week training program that we want to have individuals that work for us go through before we hire them. And so we're working with their workforce development program at Henderson Settlement.
Thank you.
Susan?
Yeah, actually, just to further clarify that, the person I connected Cos to is located at Henry Street, but it's actually the whole Lower East Side Employment Network that she's representing. So you're working with all the nonprofit, workforce nonprofits in Lower East Side are involved in that at once. So just wanted you to know that it's a good thing, and I just wanted to clarify that. Thank you.
Yeah, I spoke to Debbie Cox this morning about moving forward with them.
May, go ahead.
And time, sorry to cut you off, but timeline, if we do sign a lease this week or next week, looking like 3 or 4 months before we open. So we're looking late summer, early September.
Oh, that was my question. So you just answered it. You must have read my mind.
All right, great. Any other questions? Susan, we can take questions from any attendees as well, correct?
Sure. If they raise their hand,
Yeah,
I'll promote them.
Harlan just raised his.
Okay, I promoted Carlin. You have to unmute, Carlin.
Oh, I didn't hear you call on me. Mr. Marty, your con body hires formerly incarcerated individuals. Will this new con bud be adhering to the same practice? And you also mentioned that you were a victim of the justice system for breaking a law that was on the books back then. I think you were formerly incarcerated. Can you explain that a little bit? How you were victimized for breaking the law?
So
'Cause it wasn't marijuana. I did a little research on some cocaine, which is still a controlled substance.
So I got arrested multiple times. If you we could dissect my record if you want, but I was arrested for cannabis multiple times. The last time I was incarcerated was for cocaine and marijuana. But when I was very early and when I first was running around in the streets, it was just cannabis when I was 13 years old. And so there's where my journey started. And thank God I'm out of that world and doing what I'm doing, but I'm looking to hire people that have been justice impacted to work at Combat as well. And so that's our hopes, is to give individuals returning back into our neighborhood and our society and a second chance to, reintegrate to our neighborhood. I feel like a lot of people shut the doors on individuals coming out of the system, and we see recidivism rates drop significantly if we give these individuals an employment and opportunity. The national recidivism rate for recidivism is 76%. Once we give this individual, that person, employment opportunity, it drops down to 30%. We've been able to do this at Combody very successfully. I've been able to hire over 60 people in the last 10 years of operations, and we still maintaining a 0 recidivism rate. We built an incredible community of a whole bunch of resources: shelter, food, clothing. We're actually working with Prison Rights right now, doing a shoe drive to collect shoes to give to individuals coming out of the system. We've done turkey drives for the community. The work has not stopped, you know, and there's so many stories, and there's individuals that are attending here. Even I think Grace Lee might be here, and she's our assemblywoman who give multiple testimonies. Clayton Patterson, who's seen me, he knows me since I was 5 years old, who's a staple and a legend in the community. Has seen me gone through the wrong paths in my life and changed my life around, and now I've been blessed to have this opportunity. But yes, I believe I was a victim at a very early age. You know, I didn't really know much. We didn't have too much education besides what we saw on the street. If you lived in the neighborhood in the 80s and 90s, it was a very drug infested neighborhood. And I grew up seeing that type of world, and learning that was a means to success that I thought it was. You know, I thought that having the money, having the clothes, having the gold chains, and, you know, seeing those people as the glory and the success they were at that time, I thought that was the goal, you know, in life. And obviously today I have a different goal. You know, and so I've changed my mentality. I feel like that was what I learned, and that's what I did. And so I've learned a new path, and now I've been blessed to give people not only second chances, but I feel like, you know, this is some people's first chances, you know.
Okay, Kenyelle has her hand up.
I just wanted to say, Cost, thank you for that answer. That was a great explanation of everything, and I think it helped us understand the background as well. But we're not here to litigate, you know, your past arrest history or incarceration history. But I appreciate the answer and the response that really helped formulate your path now. So Canel, and then I saw Arnett. I'm not sure if your hand, it was up and then down.
Yeah, and you already said it, so never
Okay.
mind. Thank you.
Canel, would you like to speak?
Hi, I just want to confirm what Cora said, that yes, Assemblymember Grace Lee does support him and has worked by his side in community events. And I myself have worked with Body and seen them do toy drives and turkey drives and just always giving back to the community in a positive way. And you know, the office of Assemblymember Grace Lee supports it, and Assemblymember Grace Lee herself supports Bud and Body. And we're happy to see them move forward. That's it.
Thank you. Are there any other questions or comments from the task force or from any of our attendees? Daniel, hi Daniel.
Okay.
I think.
Okay, he's promoted. He should be promoted now.
Okay.
Hello, can you hear me? I'm not, my earbud doesn't always work for the mic. I just wanted to support this applicant, Conrad. This is exactly what this program is supposed to do. A local person that's been affected by the criminal justice that works in the community already. So I just wanted to state on a commercial space on the land. So it's all good. Thank you.
Thanks, Daniel. Any other questions, comments? Susan, shall we move on to the?
Sure, I'll just say,
I saw.
good luck.
Thank
Good
you.
luck, and let us know if you need anything from the community board.
I thank you, Susan. I saw Clayton's hand go up and down, so I don't know if you
It's
want
not
to.
up, it's not up now. Up, yep, now. it is. Okay, last one. Okay. You unmute Clayton.
There we go. All right, thank you. Trying to get my camera on. Mute camera. Good. There we go. I don't know, my camera's not going on. Yeah, I just wanted to say that I've known Koss since he was taller than his brother. He's also a New York ACA recipient. I know other people in his family. His father's a well-known playwright in the Dominican community. His father is also a New York ACA recipient. I've documented the drug trade down here for many, many years, many drug busts. I've known dozens and dozens of white people that were involved in the drug business and never got arrested. I've taken pictures in front of my door for over 37 years and watched kids like Koss grow up and get into the business. And it's just, I don't know, I just think the whole prison thing is very racist. And like I say, I've known so many white people that have been involved in the business and have never gone to jail. And the Hispanic kids, and many of them are in jail. And the drug business goes all across the whole ethnic, different diverse communities, yet the prisons are mostly Black and Hispanic. So the fact that Koss has been to jail is just one of those things. And in a neighborhood like where I live, a large portion of the population has been to jail. And you know what, I used to be really sort of adverse to the whole drug business, but after a while, I just realized how many good people have got caught up in it and went to jail and came out. Many of them are still good people. I've never seen Koss as being criminally minded. His father used to have a bodega on the Lower East Side, and he was right there by the Rivington School. He operated that for many years. He comes from a very good family, and his whole family has done very well. His brother ended up being our city council member. His whole family has done very well. And so definitely support Koss. I know he's a good person. I know his family's all good people. I know most of the people that he's worked with. I know many of the people that he's worked with since they were children and now they're adults. And I definitely, without question, support him. So,
Thank you, Clayton. I appreciate that.
my 10 cents.
Thank you, Clayton. Okay, we'll move on to the resolution. Koss Jr. and Alfredo, they don't necessarily need to stay for this, correct?
Yeah, you're welcome to, you don't need to. The resolution has nothing to do with your application.
Awesome. All right. Well, I appreciate everybody for the opportunity and thank you. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for your time, all of you, and we look forward to working very closely with CB3.
Thank you.
Again, thank you for all your hard work and everything that you do on your side.
Thanks, Alfredo.
Heidi, do you want to share the
Sure.
resolution?
Sure.
Do you want me to do you want to introduce it? Do you want me to give the background?
You can give the background while I'm pulling it up.
Okay, so the reason we have this resolution is because we did have one cannabis, justice involved cannabis application previously. We voted on it in January. And after we voted on it, we sent it to Office of Cannabis Management and tried many times to follow up and to understand how they were considering our application. And what we found out, it was very hard to get an answer. I was finally able to get a response after an elected official kind of intervened and asked for response. And I was told at that time that there was not a procedure to consider our resolution. There was not a protocol developed yet, and they had absolutely nothing they could tell me. And I continued until the Office of Cannabis Control Board met. I continued trying to get this information. I was not able to. Finally, I asked one of our assembly members for help, and he called the chair of the board and was told that the law did not allow them to deny an application after the provisional approval from OCM. And there's was not any protocol that we were given for considering our resolution. I want to just add that this is not true, or not necessarily true, for all future resolutions. The ones that are regular retail and not justice involved may have a very different protocol. So what we're talking about now is the justice involved resolution. Heidi, do you have the resolution?
I need access to share my screen. It was
You're a co-chair. You should be able to.
says host disabled participant screen
Let
sharing.
me see. It said, where does it say?
When I try to share my screen, that's what pops up.
I'm going to make you a host and see if that helps.
Okay. Says I'm the host now. Let's see. Yes. Boy.
Does it look like it's allowing you?
I don't know. It said that I have to close. I have to close Zoom in order to do that. I have to
It's a host disabled participants. Okay, I can't do it now because you've said you disabled me.
All right, I disabled you. I'm going to give the host privileges back to you. Can you screen share or should I?
I will try.
Okay. Or May, even, I don't know if you're able to.
Oh, here, I think I can do it now.
Okay.
There we go. Can you see that?
Yes, I can.
Okay, so you read it. If you need me to do anything or make changes, I can do that, okay?
Okay. Whereas Community Board 3 Manhattan received I don't know how to pronounce this.
Card.
License notification in December 2022 and in January 2023, reviewed the application at a public committee meeting and full board meeting and voted to approve the application, but deny the location for specific reasons fully explained in the resolution. And whereas CB3 sent the resolution to OCM in January 2023, and thereafter called and emailed OCM to understand how and when the resolution would be considered and next steps for CB3 to participate in the process. And whereas although CB3 met with OCM many times before the vote to understand the process, but after the vote, I think that was a typo. Now I'm lost. But with the exception of one returned Zoom meeting at insistence of a local elected official, did not receive any response nor explanation of the consideration of the resolution. And whereas in the one call between OCM and CB3, OCM stated that there was not yet a process and they were unable to give the information requested regarding the procedure for considering the CB3 resolution. And whereas in April 2023, CB3 requested that the assembly member help obtain information, he was immediately informed by the Cannabis Control Board that they did not have the power to deny a license that has been provisionally approved by OCM. And furthermore, the inspection and opening date of the business had already been coordinated by OCM and the licensee. And whereas CB3 has never received a response from OCM with an explanation of how the CB3 opinion was considered and was not able to engage with OCM in any meaningful way, to understand the process after the resolution was received by OCM. So therefore, be it resolved that CB3 expresses doubt that there is any value to voting on and sending further resolutions to OCM until there is an understanding that the resolution will be considered and there is a process to consider the resolution. And therefore be it further resolved that OCM work with community boards and other municipalities to explain, and if necessary, develop a process to have municipality opinions considered and the granting or denial explained. So we have that one typo.
Where was that? Okay.
It looks like maybe that's the third paragraph from what I'm seeing. So, whereas although CB, that one right there,
And it's before the vote to understand the process, but
after the vote, but with the exception, I'm not even quite sure.
of one returned Zoom meeting, of one returned, maybe it would just make more sense if it said one call at the assistance.
Yeah, but what is, it says to understand the process, but after the vote, but with the exception. It's like there's two vote.
Oh, I see, to understand the process and take out the but.
Yeah, okay. Understand the process after the vote, but with the exception of one.
Returned Zoom meeting.
Okay,
Okay, I think May has her hand up.
May, go ahead.
Yeah, so I have one question, the last therefore. Are we saying that we want OCM to work with community boards and other municipalities and to explain or develop a process for opinions? Is that what we're saying? Oh, if so, and we just need to, a couple of words, like, so we want to say, therefore be it resolved that CB3 urges OCM to work with community boards, et cetera, et cetera.
Yes, okay, good. Where is the NCR to work? David,
Let's talk about the first, therefore, what is our objective there? Because we're expressing an emotion, or at least that's how we began. So why have that as this one at all? All right, I agree that given the current situation, it seems just a waste of time and it's a CYI, right? That's what they're doing.
It's to explain why we're not voting on a resolution on the application.
Why we are not on which application?
The one we just heard.
Okay, well, it doesn't say that. So
Well,
whereas
it says-
C3 has just didn't, because there didn't seem to be a point. I just think that it's the way it's worded. It's expressing a frustration, the way it's worded. So how do we want to word it if we want to say it at all?
So wording to explain why we're not voting on further resolutions.
Okay, so we could, let's phrase it that way, rather than expressing doubt there's any value, saying has decided not to, maybe. That's what I was hung up on. The expresses doubt is like, well, there's our emotional state, but has decided or decided there is no value. Has decided there is no value in voting for the time being, or something somewhere in there, and there's no until there is, which we say, okay, this is better. Thanks.
yeah, that's better.
Is there anyone from the public that wanted? I can't see the hands anymore.
Let me see. Yes, Carlin.
Can you, are you, one of you are co-host, you'll have to let Carlin speak. You can just click on his name to allow to speak.
There's only 6 out there at this point. Would it make sense to?
I
pull them?
can't do that
Okay, you
because I
can't, but I'm
can't
just
see them anymore.
I know, but I'm just wondering, it's now such a small meeting, and like I see Mar out there, Mar might have a.
Okay, so
I
Fast
you
going
make-
forward.
I made you co-host. Can you make them panelists?
Okay, I will see what I can do. All of them, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
it's just on the right, on. to
Yeah,
write
okay.
their name.
Okay, no, can you make May's computer the co-host?
Okay, I think I'm gonna have to stop the screen share.
Yeah,
For a
so there's a thing called May's computer.
Okay. Got it.
May's computer is a
I got
panelist.
it. I got it. Okay.
What do I do? Okay, I'm gonna promote all of them, right?
And I'm gonna go back to screen share.
So I promoted all of them, and I think that all who want to have to accept some, click on something, accept some sort of invitation. If you don't, then you don't get on as a panelist.
Okay, Carlin, go ahead.
Yeah, regarding these cannabis, even though I think there should be a process in place like with the SLA, with the liquor license applications, where the community board should give an opinion or at least put out a position. But would the court even consider a resolution from CB3? Let's say, could we get the mayor's office or the city council's office to go to the state and request some kind of a system be put in place?
No,
Being that a community board would know the area where the license is being considered better than someone up in Albany. Thank you.
Do you want me to?
Yeah, so go ahead, Susan.
I was going to say, it's a state process. I mean, the mayor can lobby. We're actually asking our state elected officials to legislatively change this, but that's, it's going to take a while to do that.
Are there any other comments on the resolution, changes, edits?
David has his hand up.
Go ahead, David.
Yeah, if you could scroll up just a tiny bit, we'll see that last therefore. I actually think, Carlin, that is what we're asking for. So like, I don't see the bottom line or two of the key therefore. We just scroll down. So anyway, I do think that is what we were asking for, is that kind of a process to some extent.
And I would say,
I am not a fan of the SLA process, so I don't want to be a process that we must contribute to where we're caught between a rock and a hard place. But I agree that we want some sort of a process to have municipality opinions considered and the granting or denial explained. And so I think we are asking for that.
you want to vote on it?
Yes. So David, remind me, how do I do this part?
Oh, if you want to bring it to vote, bring it to vote. That's, verify there's no more debate. Give it about 2 seconds and then say, let's take a vote.
All right. Anyone else have any contributions to this resolution? I don't see any other hands, so let's vote on it. And then
You have the minute template with all the names on it. Do you have that available?
I don't, but it's just the folks on the task force, correct?
Yes, I believe there's one absent person, Troy.
Sorry, okay. Okay, I'll, if I miss anyone, you'll let me know, Susan.
Sure.
And I'm gonna go out of order because I'm just going off of my mind, but I will take notes. David Crane,
Yes.
Maylee,
Yes.
Arnett Scott,
Yes.
Troy Velez is not on.
Absent.
Heidi Schmidt, yes.
That's it.
Yes, that's it.
Isn't Andrea on this task force?
I was thinking that, is she not?
Is she? No, I think you're right. I think she is on the, but
She-
clearly absent.
Yeah. Yes, okay, that was it, Andrea. So 2 absents, the rest yeses. Okay, great. What's next, Susan?
Adjourn the meeting.
Amazing. Amazing time-wise. All right, everyone, thank you for coming. And thanks for listening, asking some good questions that help us get at the issues. And thank you, Susan, for crafting a really smart resolution.
Okay, good night.
Good
Okay, good
night.
night, everyone.
Good night.
Bye.